Howdy, I'm Pat with the Wildlife Company, and I'm here today to talk about foundation vents. I'm here to talk about this because I get a lot of calls every year from people who have issues with foundation vents and don't even know it until something shows up in the crawl space. Problem is, with foundation vents, you go to the hardware store, go to the home improvement store, and there's nothing on the shelf that really meets muster and keeps anything out of your crawl space. This is a vent that I took off. It's plastic, and it's got fiberglass screen right here on the face. Not a rodent running around here that can't cut through that. And that's what's keeping them out of your house, or not keeping them out of your house. If the face comes off of this thing, you got these weak aluminum louvers and a plastic grating in the back. There's not much anything that can't cut through that, tear through that, or just plain push it out. A lot of times I show up and these things are just laying on the ground. Got these little metal clips here. They're supposed to hold it in place. When I pulled this one off, it was hanging half off the wall. Clips fell out. What we do is go back and retrofit over these vents to keep things out. If you want to follow through the rest of the video, you can see how we do it. When you're walking by a foundation vent, it can look pretty good. But when you get up closer, it's an entirely different story. This one's been put in bad. It's got bad cracks at the top. There's that clip that's failed. Things get even worse down the side. If you look close, you can see it's been foamed in, and foam won't stop a rodent. This one's got a hole. It's been chewed through the face, through the screen. Nasty cracks between the vent and the foundation. Once things get on into the crawl space, it's anybody's guess what's going to happen. I find dead possums down here, skunks denning in here, rats, mice like to tunnel through the insulation up above my head there. Snakes follow the rats and the mice in. It's a zoo down here. Once things start to go bad, getting around down here is really tough. You're not going to just go in and grab that possum or grab that snake and drag it out. A lot of times it involves some trapping, and you got to be certain you got it out before you put that vent on. Once you think you got things clear, you can retrofit with an expanded mesh screen. They need to be screwed in pretty well to the masonry. Here I'm using a hammer drill. It's about the only way you're going to put a fastener into these foundations. Putting fasteners into a foundation is pretty tough. A lot of the brick is either really soft or really hard. You have to be careful with the soft brick not to punch it loose and make things worse. This is the case on a lot of older houses. Got to make sure you get enough fasteners in to do the job. Try to get one into each hole on our grate. Once you get everything fastened in, you still have some gaps around the edges. A lot of these are plenty big to get an animal through. Once you get things screwed down, you're going to have some gaps between the retrofit plate and the masonry. Now, in some gaps, you can pack some steel wool. The steel wool works okay if it doesn't get wet, but if you keep it out here in the weather, it's not going to last long. This roll was kept in a soggy bucket for a while, and you can see that it pretty well went to rust. This is the steel wool that we use in this sort of situation. It has stainless steel fibers in it. Comes in a nice roll to make things a little easier. This roll was in the same soggy bucket as the other steel wool, and it's still holding up just fine. Like to caulk around these vents once we got them in place. If you have any larger gaps, we pack that steel wool in. It serves as a backing to keep the caulk from falling out, and the steel wool is really what does the job. It'll stop rodents from chewing through and coming on in the house. Thanks for watching. This is Pat Gallagher with Wildlife Company. If you have anything crawl into your crawl space, give us a call. We can get it out for you, and we'll put some screens over your vents so you don't have it come back in again.